So this is Dennis with Home Rehab Pros. It's good to have you with us today. So we have some painting we have to do in this house, but before we have to do some wall patching. And we've got some cracked wall. It could be paint, it could be drywall, it could be plasterwork behind there that's cracking. I'll show you in a moment what I'm talking about. But let's take on this challenge. And if you're going to paint your house, or if you have repairs like this that you need to do, just muster up the courage and do it, because I know you can. So let's get started. So just to give you a closer look, there it is. There's the mess we have to fix. So let's get to it. Let's see what we've got. So I'm going to start with a 5-way. It's a nice paint scraper. It's nice and solid and it's rigid. And we're going to see exactly what we have to deal with here as I dig into this. So it doesn't look like it's plaster or drywall that is the problem. It's just the paint. It's just chipping up, it's peeling up. So we're going to scrape as much of this off as possible, and we're going to see what we can do to prep this, to repaint this wall. So let's stay at it. So what we really want to make sure we do is that we get all the loose stuff off of there. We just want to make sure that it's prepped. I'm going to skim it. I haven't decided what I'm going to skim it with yet. Should I use drywall mud, Durabond? Should I use some spackle just to smooth that out and see how that's going to work? So let's keep scraping, and we'll figure that out when we see the real condition of the wall. Okay, so I think I'm done with that. All the loose stuff is off, all the cracks are revealed if there's any. Mostly what I have here is the ridges, just the ridges from the old paint. There's really nothing to fill other than those. I don't want to paint that and have all those pock marks show through the paint, you know. So I think I'm going to try some spackle, and I'm just going to spread it on there and then leave a nice little coat, see how that fills it. Instead of worrying about mixing Durabond or, trying to wait for my drywall mud to dry 24 hours. So I'll show you what material I'm going to use, and then we'll give it a go. So I'm going to use a Red Devil product. It's called One Time. It's pretty good. There's no sanding required, fills holes in one fast and easy step. That's what it says. And I've used it before and I really like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of this in a drywall pan, because I'm going to mix it up just a little bit. I'm going to soften it so I can spread it a little bit easier. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's get that in there. I'm just going to use a smaller knife to scoop it up a nice amount. I'm going to scoop right into that pan, and I'm just gonna work it a little bit just to ease it up. Man, this stuff is so nice and creamy. So that's nice, that's very nice. Just mixed up just a little bit. And now I'm going to use the same knife, my 4-inch knife. Let me put a little bit more in there. Okay, so that's what I have in my pan. Not a lot. And I mixed it up a little bit just by pressing it in against the side of the pan. Now I'm going to use the 6-inch knife to apply it to the wall. Let's see how this goes. I do have to say, this stuff is very nice to work with. It's nice and creamy and it's easy. It flows off the knife and you don't need to leave a lot on there. So let me finish up. Okay, so I do want to make sure that I eliminate any ridges. I don't want ridges, although this stuff will sand. We'll see how nice it sands in about a half an hour because it's supposed to dry pretty quick. Okay, so that's the first coat. We're going to let that dry for about a half an hour. We're going to see how that feels. So I've decided I want to put a second coat on some of this stuff. It's just an extensive repair, and I'm just experimenting with the spackle on a job this size. So let's take a look. Let's put that second coat on it, and let's see how it goes. Okay, so the same process. I mixed a little bit of my spackle in my pan, just so it's easy to work with. It's in a bigger container. I can use my knife with it. And let's see what I can do to get another little skim coat on here. Oh, the second coat's working really nice. As you can see, I'm not putting a whole lot on, and I'm making sure that there's no ridges or edges on it, because I don't want to have to sand, and if I have to sand, I don't want to sand too much. Okay, that's looking really, really nice. I'm very pleased. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that there, and we're going to let that dry, and we're going to work on painting it. Okay, so we're back. We've given it a little bit of time. I actually went and got a gallon of paint so I could paint it. So let's take a look and see how this looks. You know, that feels really nice. I'm not even going to sand it. It says on the container it doesn't need to be sanded. So now let me go get my paint. Let's see how this paints out. All right, so here I am with my paint. Got a paintbrush. I got a little roller because it's just above the door. And I'm just going to start, see how this works. Let's go. Just cutting it in very quickly around the door, and just being careful, so just don't want to get any on the trim. And I'll get a little bit of this over here, cut that in a little bit. A little bit up here by the ceiling. Okay, so I'm just gonna, so that's all the cutting in I'm gonna do. So let me get my paint roller broken in here. It's just a little paint roller. Get plenty of paint on the roller. And then we're just going to roll. I'm going to use plenty of paint here. I'm not gonna be shy about how much paint I use. I want it to cover nicely. So as you can see, I'm not spreading that paint real thin. I'm being very generous with the paint. And I want to be that way. I don't need to worry about it. If I need more paint, I can always get more paint. And that's very important to make sure we put a nice coat on that. So I don't know how well this paint's going to match. You know, I did the match color at Home Depot. You know, you take a little chip of paint and you go to Home Depot and they claim they match pretty good. I am going to paint this whole room anyways, but I just wanted to see how this Red Devil one-time spackle worked. So I'm not worried about painting the whole room at the moment. But let's get a little more of this paint. Let's finish this up. And as you can see, I'm gonna end up with running my roller in one direction. I'm just going to back roll it a little bit, and that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to just run it that way. I'm not worried too much about, I put enough paint on it. And we're just going to see how this looks after only about an hour dry time. Let me get this stuff down here by the side of the door. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do right now, and we're going to see how that works, see how that dries. So this has been Dennis with Home Rehab Pros. Thanks for watching. If you really liked the video, please hit that thumbs up. Let us know. And if you have something you'd like to add, maybe a different way or something that you've done differently, we can learn from you too. So please add that in your comments. And you can look in the description for some of the products that I used today and some of the tools if you'd like to use those as well. So please subscribe so you can keep up to date with our videos. And you know what? We'll see you in the next video.